another jewelry making video brought to you by keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're making this dangly bracelet in shades of white and gold. It would look terrific in the summer with a tan, it would look great in the winter with sweaters, and it would make a lovely piece of bridal jewelry. As you know, I always encourage you to shop your own stash and find supplies for these projects that suit you exactly. But for reference, here's precisely what I used. First of all, I have these 5 8mm pearls generously sent along by houseofgems.com for me to try. Also, I have 4 of these 12mm pressed glass lentils with a great crackle look. I have 5 15mm by 20mm pearl leaves. These are going to be our dangly bits. And 10 5mm fluted antique gold plated beads, and then 5 little 4mm spacer beads. You'll need a clasp, 5 head pins, and 2 each crimps, crimp covers, and wire protectors. You'll also need a bit of stringing wire. Now when you purchase your bead stringing wire, be sure that you get as many strands as you can find in the weight that you want. This has 21 strands, believe it or not, right inside that little wire. And the more there are, then the more drapey your bracelet will be instead of being stiff. So this is a 10 or 11 inch piece of wire. And then for tools, you'll need chain nose pliers, wire cutters, and crimping pliers. You'll also need round nose pliers. So the first step is that we're going to make our dangles. And for that you'll need the head pins, your large leaves, and these 5 small spacers. And all you do is slide a leaf onto a head pin, I like them point down, and then a small spacer. And we're just going to make a simple wrap loop. Grasp the wire right where it comes out of the spacer bead and bend the wire at a 90-degree angle. And then tuck in your round nose pliers into that bend. If you want to keep all your loops the same size, I have a small mark where my pliers are 2mm, and that's where I like to make most of my loops. Wrap the loop over and around the pliers as far as it will go, and then reposition the pliers so that you can finish the loop. And now the wire exiting the loop should be at a 90-degree angle to the wire going through the beads. Go ahead and hold on to that loop with a pair of chain nose pliers. And then grab that other wire end with another pair of chain nose and wrap around that little bit of wire that's coming up out of the spacer bead. It's funny, you get some head pins if you buy them and don't make your own. Some are stiffer than others. This one's kind of stiff, but we'll make it work. I love these bent nose, chain nose. They help get into little spaces. So once you have your wire wrapped, take your wire cutters and trim off any excess wire and tuck in that wire end with your pliers. Make sure you hold your finger over the wire end as you're trimming so nobody's eye gets poked with a piece of wire. And repeat to make 5 dangles with your leaves. So you can see I have my leaf charms all wired up and ready to go. And now the next step is to prepare our beading wire for stringing. So the first thing I'm going to do is slide on a crimp, and then slide on one of the wire protectors, and it's just this little horseshoe shaped thing that does just what it says. It protects your wire from chafing. It makes it last longer. So if you're using semi-precious stones, things that you treasure, a wire protector is a good idea. And then I'm going to slide on one piece of my clasp, and you can see how that little wire protector, keeps the wire from contacting the component of the jewelry, so it's not going to get worn away. Then we're going to slide the wire back through the crimp. And just use your fingers to kind of squeeze that wire protector, so instead of a horseshoe shape, now it's more of a teardrop. And now you can see I'm trying to get my wires so that they're lying flat inside that bead. When I flatten them, I don't want them to be crisscrossed. I want them to be flat so that the crimp will grab more securely. And so slide it up close to the wire protector, but leave a little room for your crimp cover. And then use chain nose pliers, or these are flat nose pliers, to squash that crimp flat. Give it a good squeeze, and always check, give it a tug, make sure that's not going anywhere, and then use wire cutters to trim away the excess wire. And then I like to use bead crimping pliers, not for crimping the wire. I just use my chain nose pliers for that. I use them to pick up and apply the crimp covers. It's this little thing. It looks like a donut with a hole bitten out of it. And that space is where you slide it over your crimp, and then you use pliers to close it. So I'm just going to slide it over the crimp, gently squeeze and close it, and it covers that crimp, hence the name, and makes it look like a bead there, because a flattened crimp really isn't a pretty design element. And now our wire is ready to string. Now it's time to arrange our beads. And this is just a simple pattern of one of these nice bead pearls from House of Gems, and a spacer, and a cracked glass lentil, and a spacer, and so on. Pearl, spacer, lentil, spacer. And begin and end with a spacer. And now we're just going to add our leaf element, and one will go beside each of the pearls. It doesn't really matter which side of the pearl. We just want to remember as we're stringing to add them. And so here's our wire we just prepared. And then we just string all this. One of the things you want to keep in mind when you're stringing pearls is that the holes on most pearls are often smaller than on other beads. So like I had actually planned this to be a memory wire project, but I realized that my memory wire was too big. Actually, it was just, I could shove the pearls on, but I had to ask myself, did I want to do battle with every single one of the 36 pearls I had planned in that design? And I said no. So it's something you need to consider when you, especially when you're using pearls, but with any beads, is pre-plan your design with your stringing material so that you don't end up frustrated. There are reamers out there, and I think there are special, probably diamond files just for reaming out pearls. And if that's something that you're interested in spending the time doing, it might be worth it. So just keep stringing your design. Now you can see I've finished stringing my beads. I've also added my final crimp, wire protector, the other piece of the clasp, and then strung the wire back through the crimp, just like at the beginning. You just want to be sure that you leave some slack in the bracelet. If you pull it really tight at this point, the bracelet is stiff and doesn't drape nicely, because when you curve it around your wrist, it actually takes up a little bit of that slack. So leave a little space and then repeat the process to flatten that crimp. Trim the wire. It went through this bead, so I let it. It's fine. And then add your final crimp cover. So here's another look at the project we made today. Combining stringing and wire wrap dangles is a fun way to change up your jewelry. And like I always say, find beads that you love, that suit your personality, and make something special. Thank you so much for watching Keepsake Crafts videos. Up on the screen are 2 more bracelet videos you might enjoy trying to make. Please be sure to check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where I have lots more crafting and jewelry making ideas and inspiration. Be sure to click like if you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Thanks so much for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.